are.
Here we are. New year, new us. All of us.
Yay!
Yeah.
2025.
Rebirth.
Yeah, renewal. It's apples and oranges. Hey, we're back. It's 2025. We have an amazing guest. We've got Brennan Keeley.
Hi. Hello. Hello. I'm so happy to be here.
And we're so happy Brennan's here with us.
Welcome back to the show.
Yeah, awesome returning guest.
You have a storied history with this podcast.
I was thinking about that today when I was in the shower. I think of all my deepest thoughts in the shower, and I really don't like the person I become on this podcast. I think debating really just brings out a horrible side of me, and I'd like to think that I left that person in the past. I think the last time I was on this podcast was 2 years ago.
Was it with Grace
right.
or was it?
It was with Grace. We did the recap with Grace,
Yes.
but that was because I really was playing the debate tournament like it was the Beast Games.
Yeah.
I was. Have you watching the Beast Games?
I've seen the first 3 episodes. Yeah,
It's so good. I
It's
can't
really good.
learn a new
It's really
episode.
good.
I can't
Really?
wait.
Okay, I'm
so
stoked.
but yeah, I was playing it really dirty and I want to play with integrity today.
That's a
That's
good
super
intention
admirable.
to go in with. That's why we brought you back with Grace for the Humble Hour.
Yeah, the humble hour. That's what it was
Yeah.
called, the humble hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think did we find peace?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
I think
We're still
peace was
friends.
found. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still
Yeah.
friends with Grace. Shout out Grace. She's in Tokyo right now.
Is she really?
Really?
Oh, that's
With
awesome.
her dad and JT from the City Girls.
Oh,
Mhm.
there we go.
Yeah, a cool trio. The
That
odd
is
couple.
cool.
It's
An
iconic.
odd thruple.
The odd throuple. Yeah.
That's sweet. Well, have you had any major debates since you've last been on? Have there been any big
Major debate.
In the last
any
2
debates or
years.
any times when you stood your ground and debated a topic or
I was
any bad
about
takes?
to debate my roommate because this is kind of I feel like a hot take
Shoot.
because I am a huge Beyonce fan
Mhm.
and I kind of forgot why we were probably talking about her because of the Beyonce Bowl, but she, shout out Cal, she was I think Beyonce's a weak woman. And
Whoa.
I don't really want to get into it here because that's feels like a crazy thing to say. And I was really ready to debate her. I was about to bring her the facts, but she kind of laid out her argument in a way where I was I can't agree that she's a weak woman, but I don't think she's as strong as we think. And that's all I'll say.
Does this have to do with the
There.
fact that Jay-Z is kind of sus, or does it not have to do with Jay-Z? It has other
It
shit?
has to do with she kind of laid out the argument that Beyonce has always been, and I don't actually know if this is still true, but Beyonce has always been managed by a man or stood behind her man. And her argument was kind of which I don't know if I fully agree with. That was Beyonce can't do it without a man, or she doesn't believe in herself. Actually,
Oh,
I
wow.
think the correct argument was Beyonce doesn't believe in herself because she needs
Interesting.
a man behind her, which I think is a really a thorny.
That's a hot take.
It is a
That's
really hot take.
Totally hot take. It's Queen Bee. I feel like everyone
she needs
thinks
to
she's so empowered.
be here right now, Queen Bee and my roommate Cal, because I think they could really duke it out and
That
have
would
an
be-
explosive.
I
Brave
feel
for
like
ages.
that's very philosophically dense. What does it mean to be brave?
Right.
Do you need to be fully independent, or is that what bravery even is?
Well, it's so brave to be open with others.
Mm.
That's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
But it's also
Yeah.
really brave to, stand on your own and reject others sometimes. So it's the brave thing to do is to do neither. And upload yourself to the cloud.
Yes.
Yeah.
Turn yourself into a podcast.
And
Yeah.
I would say there's nothing braver than being just 3 folks on a podcast.
Yep.
Talking about Beyonce.
Yeah. This ain't text. I was trying to do this ain't apples and oranges, but it didn't really come out like that.
It is currently apples and oranges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there might be.
I think
are yours first
Yeah.
topics?
How'd you know, Matt? There
Oh my
are 2
God.
topics ready to
That's
go.
so weird. This is so freaky.
And Brennan's topic is actually particularly piping hot because you're
Holy
going to
shit.
debate in favor of a soup of your choice. Unless, of course, it's a cold soup. Well, you can be a cold soup.
A gazpacho.
Yeah, a gazpacho.
Soup.
If that's what you wish to debate in favor
Chowder.
of.
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't hold my breath, but
And Matt, your topic is an occupation of your choice. So any sort of, job. And I'll sort of vamp here. I hope everyone had an awesome, New Year's and enjoyed the tournament, which is still out now. You should listen to it. It's in 2 parts and it's pretty epic. Do we?
I got one.
Okay. Well, why don't we hear from you first, Matt?
Okay. I, in my mind, immediately started turning to the arts. I have a great respect for artists. I love art and artists and what they do. And within the arts, I was thinking about who do I really respect? What's the best occupation from the standpoint of like getting the most out of it, and bringing a lot to those who consume it. And what came to mind for me was the caricature artist.
Oh,
the caricature artist.
Is this like a cartoonist
kind of cartoonist thing? Okay, cool. Who draws caricatures of people for money in exchange for, they get a picture of them in caricature form. Sort of like the insult comic, but using the drawn image in favor of words. It's honest. It's not quite so, cutting in a way that can hurt people like words. Instead, it's just an honest expression. People want to be insulted. They want to see themselves exaggerated. They get it. They laugh. They learn about themselves. And the caricature artist is brave because, what they're doing is it's still risky behavior. Someone could not take well to it and want to, give them a knuckle sandwich, but they persevere.
Lives are on the line.
Lives are on the line.
Totally.
You understand. And that's my time.
That's a very creative answer.
Thank you.
When I think of soup, I think of there are two components usually. There's like a liquid part, and there's like what's inside the liquid. And this first soup that came to my mind when I think of soup, I think of this image of Katy Perry in the Bon Appetit music video where she's like in soup. So I'm gonna debate for Katy Perry Soup. So for those unfamiliar with this soup or this music video, really, where she presents this unnamed soup, we'll call it the Katy Perry Soup. Basically, they take her out of this big freezer. They like knead her body. They chop off her hair and they put her in this big broth and they throw all these vegetables and this other meat in there, and it kind of transforms her into this, radical, feminist that votes for Hillary, and like she like dances with the Migos.
Wow.
And it's a really cool soup because I don't know, like the people in the restaurant in the music video tried it, and I'm sure that can't be good. Like I don't know what Katy Perry's body is like, but I'm sure if you drank anyone's like bathwater, you could get a little sick. So I don't know if it's like regulated by the food and safety and all of that, but I respect her for doing that, and kind of the soup transforms her, which is kind of never been done in soup before, you could argue. So that's my opening argument for the Katy Perry Soup.
And the floor is open.
Also, I'll say very creative.
Thank you. I try.
I think you said it's never been done before in soup, a soup that changes you, and I just don't think that's true. I think there have been other soups that are transformative to those who interact with it. What comes to mind immediately are soups with poison in them. Soups with poison in them.
Like a poison soup?
Yeah, like a poison soup on account of it would kill whoever drank it.
Okay.
I'd say that's transformative. I would say, so Katy Perry's soup isn't so unique as we think it is.
Okay, well, yes, like that is transformative. So maybe transformative was the wrong word. I'll say healing was what her soup was doing, because it kind of actually no.
Because chicken noodle soup is also rather healing
to her. It was a destructive soup like the poison, because that like era kind of killed her career, or was the beginning of the decline.
What album was this? Like,
this
when
was
Witness.
This? This was when she was like she shaved her
the
head.
eye in the mouth.
She had the eye in the mouth, yes, which ended up going in the soup.
Really?
Yeah, she put everything into that soup. It was everything but the kitchen sink soup.
Sounds disgusting.
Yeah, that's why the album flopped. It's this gross ass soup. Everyone drank the soup and was like, "We're not going to buy this album."
Yeah.
But I do think it probably, like, what is worse than death itself? Having a career that no one respects anymore. Which I would say the same for a character artist, where it's kind of like, no one when they're a child grows up and says like, I want to like draw mean pictures of people. Like, you can do that when you are a child, but to keep doing that is kind of like, grow up a bit.
See, I disagree. I think so. First of all, as a kid, I definitely did that. I love to draw on cartoon, draw mean pictures of people. It's wonderful, and I think caricature artists keep the childlike spirit alive. And I think that's like all artists, they keep the childlike spirit alive.
No, because I think there's a difference between a childlike spirit like Kate Bush. Like all of her music is like the eyes of a child. Like she has the eyes of a child, and she's able to put that into music. But then there are some children where it's like, and they like do that, and they're like na 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 boo boo, and it's like, okay, like chill. Like, but there are children screaming all the time, and to me that's what character artists,
I don't think
that's the child they're tapping into.
I don't think caricature artists are like throwing a tantrum. Like, I think that's what you're saying. You're comparing it to a tanty. I don't think it's like a tanty.
A tanty?
I don't think it's like a tanty.
Okay, put your tanties away.
I don't think it's like a tanty though. I think it's sort of like punk music. You know?
Also, I can't even say this stupid word. I keep saying character artist, caricature artist,
caricature,
caricature. It's like no one even knows that word. Everyone can say Katy Perry is 4 syllables. Katy Perry, that's easy. Katy Perry Soup is 5. Catherine Hudson. What I also want to say about this soup is that it takes so many chefs to prepare. And the body in the music video, they're really like working on her body. And this looks like a real Michelin star restaurant. So this isn't just like any like, tomato soup. We all love tomato soup.
This is
and
the
that was my second choice. I was almost going to go for that, believe it or not. But this is a soup that like takes like a community to prepare. So you're really bringing people together with this soup. And it's also like commentary on class because all the rich people at this restaurant like probably get really sick from this soup.
I mean, it just sounds really inefficient
kind of like
to me.
Parasite.
It is a little like Parasite. It just sounds really inefficient to me. I would not want to eat the Katy Perry soup. And if they didn't, all the rich people, they don't finish the Katy Perry soup. What happens to that soup? Does it go to a soup kitchen? Well, now you're poisoning all the poor people too.
The Migos probably take it for their next music video where they give it to other people. It kind of like goes on. It's communal. I also want to say, what do you mean by inefficient?
It takes too many chefs. Too many chefs in the kitchen.
Too many chefs. Which is okay.
Too many cooks.
I would rather have too many cooks than like one lousy artist who just can draw like a mean sketch.
But they're really creative. They're really creative with their mean sketches.
You say that like making soup isn't.
Making soup is not creative.
What do you mean? The Katy Perry soup, they literally put a human in a soup. Have you ever done that before?
If you were told to make a soup and one of your ingredients had to be Katy Perry, there are only so many ways you can make that soup.
No! Oh my gosh! You could do like the California Girl soup, and it's like a candy soup. You could do a fireworks soup, and you put like a firework in it. You could do a war soup where you put a tiger in it. You could do this is how we do soup, where you put all the different cultures in it. Like there's so much hot and cold soup. You could do a soup and a gazpacho. That is like revolutionary. So Katy Perry soup, there is so much potential, actually really untapped. I think she should stop making music and start going into soup. That would really revive her career.
Stepping into soup.
Going into soup. A restaurant where like there's a different soup every day that is themed around one of her songs, and she gets in the soup.
She is her bathwater is the basis.
Totally. It's like a Dita Von Teese like bowl that she can like strip tease in or something. Oh. Katie, if you're listening to this, let's talk.
Yeah, last 2 albums didn't really pan out, Katie. I think we may have found
3. Let's talk about that.
Well, that's a shame. I think caricature artists, they bring a lot to the table. I think, because it's like, okay, what are you going to do if you're on a boardwalk? What are you going to get up to? Okay, you eat, you drink, then what else? What do you do on a boardwalk? What do you get up to?
Okay, be fucking for real. But think about what you're eating. 1, funnel cake. You're drinking delicious like soda pops. You're playing like carnival games, because a lot of boardwalks have like, fun shooters where you can win a teddy bear for your partner. It's like you're winning a teddy bear for your girlfriend. Coney Island has all these roller coasters. You could also like, jump off the boardwalk. Like there's like dancers at the boardwalk. There's like fortune tellers at the boardwalk. Isn't that how Big happened? He went to the carnival.
Yeah, it was what was it? One of those machines, a Zoltar machine, a fortune teller machine.
And look what happened to him. He got big. Do you want that to happen to you? No, how about some like some innocent fun? You get a picture of you on a surfboard holding up a little peace sign with a big head and like buck teeth that you don't really have.
Okay, yeah. I'm whelmed by this, almost in a way where I'm like, this career is basically like if you took Katy Perry after Witness and just decided to have a career based on that. Like you get none of like the thrill and the fun.
Imagine yourself. Imagine a couple. They sit down, and the caricature artist has to come up with sort of like sort of an exaggerated mean take on each of them, but then like works them into each other to sort of create like a story with the image.
Okay, I'm listening.
I think that's pretty creative.
Yeah, it's creative, but it's like it's lazy creativity to me, is what it is. It's like, oh, I'm taking one thing that like might be, you know, nasty or rude about you and like, you know, blowing it up. Anyone can do that.
You know,
if I really wanted to, I could be a caricature artist.
You know what I think is pretty lazy is stepping into a soup. Take your own damn bath. You don't need those people to need you.
Okay, sure.
I think
maybe
it's
lazy, but I would rather reframe it as relaxing.
And I would rather reframe caricature artist as creative and fun.
I think I'm ready for a closing statement from each of y'all.
Okay.
And why don't we start with Brennan, since you began second.
Katy Perry Soup is, to quote Beyonce, one of one. She's number one. And when she sang Alien Superstar, she was Alien Superstar. Let's keep that in mind.
Here.
That was a nod to Katy Perry Soup, what she was saying there. No one else has done what she's done with that soup. And one could argue that the reason, you know, her career hit the shitter was because people weren't really ready for what she was cooking up, metaphorically and literally. You know, I wish I could taste that soup. I bet it's really warm and hot. I bet it is a sexy soup. I could even imagine that it's an aphrodisiac. You know, there's probably like some clams and and like green onion and carrots. And I feel like after eating that soup, I'd be revved up to, you know, to put a baby in someone. Just like Katy Perry had a baby after that album.
Oh.
And that's all I'm gonna say on the Katy Perry Soup.
I think I would rather eat the eye in Katy Perry's mouth than take one sip of the Katy Perry Soup. It's fucking disgusting. It's inefficient. It's nasty. Caricature artists are creative. They're fun. They're letting off steam. Everyone has a good laugh about it, but they're also brave. And I yield my time.
Very well done. Very well done, both of you. Great stuff.
Good game.
Good game.
I think it was quite close. Though I think I do think I'm left after that debate intrigued by this soup.
Yay!
So I think I'm going to give it to Brennan.
Yeah, that checks out.
Thank you, Jack.
But Matt, very well done. And I
no. I think you did win this one, Brennan.
I commend.
I felt it in my bones.
I commend all the brave characters. I like how brave was one of your.
They're brave.
You're saying these things, but you're not really giving us any evidence.
No.
I also liked how you chose like an art where they all kind of look the same.
No, they're very creative.
It was occupation, right?
It was occupation, yeah. And then you're like, I'm gonna pick an artist. I was
really like, okay, where is he going with this? And I really wasn't expecting to say caricature artist. I'm gonna have to work on that next time.
By the way, I clicked on the random thing picker and it has suggested soup again. We're not doing it again, but I think this
do that again.
Soup is being pushed. I'm letting you know.
Beyonce soup.
Big soup has found its way. Onto the laptop.
This is how Katy Perry can make a comeback. We just, we have to talk about her soup every damn time on this podcast.
I wonder if I don't know. Maybe could you go on the internet and like find like this is a jar from the music video of the actual soup? Because if anyone out there has access to this, you know where to find us. Reach out ASAP.
I want to drink some.
We'll do a taste test. Bring the group back together.
That'd be
sounds
awesome.
like a great.
Yeah. Let's meet here in 5 years with Katy Perry Soup.
That old rotted soup, 12 years old.
All right, folks. So we got some topics right here.
Okay.
Jack, you're going to be arguing in favor of a language.
Okay.
And Brennan, you're going to be arguing in favor of a movie genre.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Right.
I literally have mine.
I have mine too. My language. Or who do you want to hear from?
I want to hear from Brennan first.
Okay. So my movie genre is, to quote Beyonce, I'm one of one. Only one of this movie exists. So my movie genre is Megalopolis.
I'm gonna lose.
Yeah,
I'm gonna lose.
I'm like,
It's the best movie ever. No, keep going. I'll do a valiant effort.
The beautiful thing about this movie genre is that, of course, it's one of one. And actually, I would argue that there is another movie that fits into this genre, which is the Jennifer Lopez This Is Me Now. Like, you too should watch this because you really love it. But I've watched it, like, it came out last year, but somehow I've already watched it twice.
Is it a documentary?
No, it's like it's kind of like Beyonce's Lemonade, but not like that. at
Okay.
all. It's like that same style of like a music video, a music film, basically.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
I think I've seen it like 4 times since it came out, and like probably the only person that's done that. But I've seen it twice this year already. But regardless,
Do you think the
I would
editors
say-
have seen it that many times?
Yes,
Okay.
I think that was edited
Oh.
to perfection by
Nice.
AI.
Oh.
They were watching that over and over again. But that also fits in the genre of, we'll call it this Megalopolis, the most recent Francis Ford Coppola movie. And that movie is, it's every genre. It's doing everything a movie shouldn't and should be doing. It is like, a TikTok movie. It's a 4chan movie. I've never been on 4chan. It's a movie that's also a graphic novel sometimes. It's a movie that's prose and poetry. And there's really nothing like it. So that's my intro for Megalopolis.
Okay. In my intro, the language I'm choosing is Braille. Because
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out all the blind listeners out there who may not be able to enjoy the visual aspect. No, the deaf listeners of the pod who are enjoying this in Braille.
No,
we're
No,
with
you
Braille.
got it
Try
right the
that
first
again.
time.
You're right the first time.
If you're
Blind people read.
Oh, you're right.
Deaf people could just read regular books.
Deaf people can read regular books. So what is Braille? No, Braille's if you're blind. So yeah, you can hear this fine, but this will be dropping in Braille soon. And I'm just gonna quickly end my opening statement by saying Brennan hates blind people.
Okay.
That's my take.
Before I really get into Megalopolis,
Mhm.
you kind of pulled a page out of my book there
In what way?
by saying that I hate blind people. Because usually I come on this podcast and I do like character
characters, yeah.
assassinations. Like,
Mhm.
I was accused of that by Grace, by
Mhm.
Ian,
Mhm.
I think probably by one of you.
Yeah,
probably both of you.
I'm accusing you
actually.
right now. So
And that's fair. And normally, this is the part where I would say something really nasty about you, but I'm not going to do that because I don't do that anymore.
okay,
This is a new era for me.
How
I'm just,
Well, you know what? That's even worse than saying something nasty because now you're on this moral high ground.
Mhm.
You're sort of you're
And
kind of
speaking of moral high grounds, the main character of Megalopolis, Adam Driver's character, is on the moral high ground of his
What's his name?
life. His name is Zazu Zanzibar.
My opponent doesn't even know the name of the...
Oh my gosh, wait, no, it's on the tip of my tongue. It's like literally, like, I couldn't even tell you the characters in Abbott Elementary's name, though, and I like watch that show every day. Wait, what's his name? It's like, Caesar,
Yeah, I don't remember.
I
It's
don't
know.
like-
know. I have it. I think.
Caesar Pompey,
what was it?
something.
It was
It's like Catalano.
Caesar Catalan.
Yeah, Caesar
Catalina.
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 Caesar
Catalina.
Catalina.
Yeah.
It's like the only character, the only person whose character I remember is Aubrey Plaza, who's like WoW Platinum.
What about
It's just-
what about Vesper Sweetwater?
They named her after
the Vestal Virgin.
the Vestal Virgins, of course. It's like, see how memorable this movie
yeah.
is. Like everyone
about Mish Berman?
everyone by the three of us is like talking about it. Like none of us know Braille.
Yeah,
which
because
is
we're
a
not
shame. I think
blind.
we should know
But without Braille,
But it's a really hard language to learn.
yeah, but if you're blind, you lock in and you get it done, And I don't know if you've seen the Book of Eli.
No,
Have you seen the Book of Eli? Well,
it's not Megalopolis.
I'm not going to spoil it, actually. Forgive me. But point is, Braille is actually something that people use every day that betters their lives. Megalopolis, I think, ruined some careers probably and lost a lot of money. I think it was not a good... I mean, both of those movies in that genre were considered widely among critics flops and bad. As where Braille is an innovation that's bettered humanity. Whose life has Megalopolis improved besides those in this room?
Oh my gosh, everyone who freaking saw it. Like the
Okay.
people that were in, you know how many stars were in that movie?
There were a lot of stars, but I think
So many stars.
I don't think it helped them out.
Do you know how
I
many
think,
stars were in Jennifer Lopez's This Is Me Now? I'm going to name some.
Please.
Kiki Palmer,
Oh, wow.
Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Oh,
Kim
shit.
Petras,
Okay.
Post Malone, Jane Fonda,
Wow.
Fat Joe,
Oh,
Derek Huff, or Huff. I don't know, but he was on Dancing with the Stars.
I think just
But-
Huff. I think Felicity's the Huffman.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
She's not in that. She wishes.
No,
But
she's in jail, I think.
those movies, like, what I don't like about what you just said,
Mhm.
is that, you were kind of putting those two movies, their success in terms of, like if they made a lot of money.
Or
if they
people
were
wi-
successful.
or if the people widely say they're good, which
If people, and
people don't.
but that's because, like, it's sheeple. We're following herd mentality. I'm
You're a
someone who doesn't believe in that.
So-
I've never, ever, ever followed the pack.
My opponent is a conspiracy theorist. And I think the genre of movies,
the mudslinging.
I'm the truth sayer and the soothsayer because I'm calming everyone down with my sweet voice. Folks, if you can hear me, go to your nearest public bathroom and put your hands all over the braille and the entrance and just feel what it feels like to actually touch a language. Can you touch a language? That's insane. What an insane innovation.
Oh my God. I literally have magnet letters on my fridge. I could touch the alphabet. Like, you're acting like this is like,
but all the letters
to have
feel
a
the same.
raised surface is a language.
No. Well, it is. It actually is. But the magnets on your fridge, if I were to close your eyes, you wouldn't be able to distinguish the A from the B.
I literally could.
Oh, I
see.
see.
The A is like a triangle.
Oh,
and
I
a B
see.
is like,
yours are like that.
like
I
a
thought you meant
stomach
more
with
of like
boobs.
ours. Okay. Whatever.
What I'm saying is that like I would call these types of movies like truly, and we say that word gets thrown a lot, auteur, you know. These are actually auteur movies. These are people that like risk their lives, actually ruin their lives.
Who
trying to make these
directed the
movies.
J-Lo one? Did she direct it?
J-Lo herself.
Wow.
And Dave Meyers, who makes the most ugly music videos of all time. Have you seen the Sweetest Pie music video?
No.
I think there's another soup in that music video too. It's like the Dua Lipa soup. It is so disgusting. She takes a
Dua
pie
Lipa
out of her
soup.
face.
Oh my God.
Dua Lipa. But basically, these are like Jennifer Lopez like ended up getting a divorce from Ben Affleck
Because of that, right?
because of this movie.
Because of it?
Yes, because of the movie.
I've heard of that.
Yes.
What, do you know any more details?
So basically, like the movie was supposed to be like this huge comeback of Jennifer Lopez's career because she has this album called, I think it's called This Is Me, and this is the sequel, This Is Me ... now, and it was supposed to be this huge comeback, and she went on this world tour. Or she was supposed to. I was gonna get tickets to see it at MSG on my birthday.
Oh my gosh.
Nonetheless, but she ended up canceling the tour because she ended up getting a divorce from Ben Affleck, and the movie is all about their love. But he plays like, again, this is also like
He's
who
in it,
else is
right?
thinking? He's in it as
Yeah.
a Donald Trump InfoWars character.
Yeah, I've seen
It's
clips of that.
So crazy. And it's like, who else is coming up with this? Like, no one. Like, so when you're making a movie, so many people are like, oh, like, how can we please the audience? Like, oh, you know, we'll throw in a kiss here. Oh, we'll do this, whatever. But like, these are movies where it's like, no, I'm following the beat of my own drum. It's like, okay, languages are great, but it's like nothing is better than making up your own language and only speaking it to yourself and isolating all your friends and family.
See,
And
that
this is kind
seems
of what these movies did.
and that sounds horrible to me because I, as a humanist, believe that we should be empowering humanity and trying to bring each other together. Those who are, you know, unable to read, you know, giving them a means to do that via sensors, you know, via touch. You're just obsessed with this this movie that destroyed a marriage for no good reason other than that it's. Why do you even like it, Brennan?
I like
What
it.
is your deal?
Oh my gosh! Again, it's like this is a character attack. I like this.
It's a caricature
movie
attack.
because
I was gonna say, yeah,
I've
it is
never seen a caricature attack. Exactly.
Caricature
Oh my God, I said it!
assassination.
What I like about this movie is like I've never seen anything like it, and it brings me so much joy to watch. It's like after I saw Megalopolis 2, I was like, every other movie is so boring in comparison. Why would you have a movie that has a 3-act structure when you can have a movie that has like, it's basically TikTok, where it's like every second you're being bombarded by something that is just like the craziest thing you've ever seen
So good.
in your life. And what is so great about J-Lo, well, this movie too, is like, it like mirrors the form and the content mirror the artist's life. Like the movie is about J-Lo being a loveaholic, and she keeps getting remarried to all these people who have like different astrology signs, and she ends up being on her own. And what happened in real life was that, you know, J-Lo got a divorce. She ends up having to be on her own, but we know she can do it because she made the movie. She plays in her character in the movie is called the artist.
Awesome.
Which is so beautiful. It's like, you know, any artist, caricature artist even too, like they could follow this movie. Same with Megalopolis. Like that movie was all about like, you know, creating utopia and the real life of Francis Ford Coppola. Like he wanted to start a film studio that was a utopia. He tried, but he failed. You know, the other studios, they got him down. And the same thing happened with this movie. Like everyone laughed at him. They said, oh, like this is a stupid movie. We can't like support this. But he made it anyways. He put his own money into that. And he made something beautiful that touched so many people. I've not met a single person who's hated Megalopolis. That is the movie of a man who has worked his whole life and is finally being himself.
Wow.
Take that, Braille.
That was beautiful. I think we have to do closing statements.
We have to do closing.
Now. That was beautiful.
I'll just jump into my closing statement, folks. I think I've just had this one handed to me. Matt, I beg you to give me the win. I simply need it. I simply need it for my self-esteem. I can't beat that. It's my favorite genre of movie ever. I admit it. Like, Megalopolis is so good. But when you make your decision, Matt, don't think about me. Think of the hundreds of blind people. No, thousands of. Is it deaf? Well, I don't know what Braille is, folks. But think of them. Think of the orphans who use Braille and will not be able to, read otherwise. Before you make your decision.
Okay.
I yield.
Okay.
I will say it was already like when I first got this like topic, I was like, same with the Katy Perry Soup. Like I knew I was locked in, and like this feels like fate. It feels like destiny, and I hope that one day like I can make an auteur film in the style of This Is Me ... Now or Megalopolis. Like these are two films I do think that are deeply misunderstood. But the people that get them almost in the same way that a lot of languages are misunderstood by people who don't speak them. And these films are my language. This is art I know that will prevail and last the test of times, and I think will only grow with more love as time progresses. So the auteur film is the best genre of film, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of this in the future, from me at the very least. Thank you.
Wow.
Well, I respect your plea, Jack, but at the end of the day, the only people I care about are listeners of this podcast. And if there are only, let's say 100 listeners of this podcast, and there aren't, but if there are, then proportional to the population, I can't imagine we have that many blind listeners, and if we have blind listeners, I genuinely want to hear from them. But assuming that is it's a maximum of 10 people probably. I'm not going to do this for them. Unfortunately, I do have to pick Megalopolis.
Woo! I almost forfeited as soon as I heard your choice, but I kept persisting, and then I almost forfeited again at the very end when you gave your monologue, and then I didn't. I just pleaded.
No, that was a good game.
Great game, Brennan. That was an amazing,
great game.
Amazing debate.
Thank you.
But you're not out of here yet. Where are we at? I think we got time for one more.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
It's time for one last.
All right,
bring it
now
home.
this is oh wow, it plugged movie genre again, but
Whoa, I would choose Soup.
yeah. Okay, we got two really broad ones, so I'm excited to hear both of your choices. Brennan, a tool of your choice, and Matt, an insect. So while y'all think of that, I'm gonna update the records here and just give myself a dub, just so we go back to the
This
books.
guy's funny.
But if you have anyone have a topic?
Wait, sorry, what's your category again?
An insect.
Insect versus tool. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Mine is like coming to me like in a vision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, it is.
You have a vision?
Um,
Or not fully yet?
like images in my head that I'm seeing, and I'm like,
series of images.
I don't really want to choose this one, but I think it's like,
Destiny?
I think it's fate.
Yeah.
I think it's destiny.
Okay. Well then, far be it for me to stop you. Do you want to go first?
I can go first.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say it. Washcloth.
Oh.
Which can we look up? Is that a compound word?
Washcloth? Or is it
Mhm.
one word? Let's see right now.
Washcloth.
This will just give me some peace of mind.
It is 2 words.
2 words. Wow.
No, it's actually it's 1 word.
It's okay. I thought.
The reporting is not fully in. Everyone, if you're still in line, stay in line. They've not finished counting votes yet.
Stay in line.
We do not know if washcloth is 1 or 2
No,
words.
it's 1 word.
I'm gonna say 1. Yeah, good. It's okay. That's what I thought. Yeah. This, as I was saying earlier, this came to me in a vision, and when you hear tool, you think that is on its the way it comes out. Tool. It's very hard on the teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And I think of a hard, like, steel object. I think of, like, a wrench or a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, like, what are other tools? Like, I size watches for my job. So I was thinking of, like, a watch sizing kit that has lots of tools in it. But the image that kept popping in my head was a washcloth. And I think this is, like, the tool of the feminine divine, really. Like, it's soft. It cleans. It's really nice on your body. And the shower to me is like one of the most important spaces I exist in. It's the only space where I know I can truly be myself. I don't have to worry about anyone coming in. When they hear the shower's on, they know it's just me. Sometimes I do use an African sponge net, which is like kind of a version of a washcloth. We'll put that under, in that schema. But it's nice to have a companion, and the shampoo and conditioner, all of that changes, but the washcloth is a tool that you use to get yourself clean that will always be with you. So that's my opening statement.
Okay. My opening statement is the fairest of all the bugs. It's the ladybug.
Oh,
Ladybug.
Oh.
Cute little bug. The only bug that is so dainty and cute that humans like it and just let them stay and like don't squish them or kill them. And like when people do it, it's considered like bad taste and bad form. They're just very like charming little bugs. So that's my pick. That's my choice.
That's beautiful. Do you know that ladybugs eat their young?
Oh my
a lot of
gosh,
bugs
is
do
this
that.
true?
Yeah.
A lot of bugs do that.
It's a
You know,
bug
I don't
thing.
use a washcloth. I use a loofah.
A loofah. I use a loofah sometimes. That is kind of like a washcloth. Not quite.
Washcloth adjacent. I'm just saying, like, and you're like, you want to expand the schema or whatever. I think a washcloth is kind of limited. I've also, at many times in my life, just applied soap directly to my body and not even used anything.
No tool at all.
No tool at all.
Can I ask why?
I didn't feel the need.
You didn't feel the need.
And I still don't necessarily. I have a loofah now, so I'm like, I'll use the loofah. But like, the best tool I have is my hand.
That is one of the best tools, I would say.
I think
I would put washcloth up there because
it's kind of limited.
What in what sense?
What can you do with a washcloth?
Well, you wash yourself with it.
You can do a lot
And you
more
protect
than
yourself.
with your hands.
Yeah. Yes, but I would argue that more is not always better. The washcloth is really good at what it does, and it's more of like a comforting tool as well. Like I remember when my grandma used to give me baths, she would, wet my hair with the washcloth, and it had a very therapeutic quality to it. So there's a history with the washcloth that you use. I still have my grandma's washcloth that she originally bathed me with, and I keep that. I don't use it anymore because it's like moldy and ratty.
Right, I was thinking it sounds really disgusting, but
but I still keep it with me because it's it's important to keep family heirlooms.
That's sweet.
Something I also know about ladybugs is that they're one of the few like species where there's no homosexuality.
Oh,
They're only a heterosexual bug.
I think that's their prerogative. You're not accusing them of homophobia, are you?
Never, because that doesn't even exist to them. They don't know what
That's
that
what I'm
is.
saying. Like they don't understand it.
Which
So
is ironic because you'd think they're all lesbians.
Yeah,
They're all
no.
ladybugs, but no.
no, they're just very feminine bugs.
Yes, yeah. So
what's your point then?
my point is it's just like, they should be more open-minded.
They should just try.
I think that they need some Judith Butler or just, to think more about
I think more
gender.
I think they need to go to college.
Ladybugs also don't have hearts.
They don't have hearts?
Yes, they're like vampires in that way. Well, vampires have hearts, but they just don't use them. But yeah, they're soulless creatures.
They're like the
So they
Grinch.
eat-
Soulless. Oh my god, that's a bit much.
They don't have hearts. They
They're-
also don't have souls.
I
God
think
says that only humans have souls.
So,
Souls, and you know who made washcloths? People with souls. Think about that. A washcloth has a soul.
washcloth does not have a soul. You
Really?
said only
What
humans.
makes you say that?
Humans are the only things you say have soul.
Okay, yeah, that's true. But
Washcloth-
I would argue that a human can imbue something with soul.
Sorry, you said a human can imbue something with a soul?
No, imbue something with soul. So it doesn't have capital S soul, but I
So,
think a washcloth has
like-
soul to it.
Like soul, like not like a soul at the center of your being, but more like like soul, like a groovy beat has soul.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's imbued with soul. Mhm.
Okay,
A
give you
ladybug,
that.
A ladybug has no
I would say
Um,
ladybugs have soul.
heart. I would also argue that there's like something sort of like fascistic about ladybugs. Because they're really a species that's built on looks and aesthetics. It's like, oh, it's a bug. And it's pretty. It has all
It's
these
the
like,
fairest of them all.
It's the fairest of them all, sure. But if we learned anything from Wicked, it's that like just because you look good doesn't always mean that you're the shit.
I'll just say, Glinda, great person.
Really, really,
Yeah.
really. And why is that?
She's pretty.
She's hot. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
because she's not green like that weirdo.
Do you know that Glinda doesn't use a washcloth?
Well, she like uses like her hands and like puts like cleans her butt with like her finger like.
So she looks good, but she doesn't always smell good.
Oh, that's okay.
Really?
Let's say she's the good witch. She's amazing.
But that's not true. She's not actually the good witch.
What are you talking about? Everyone says so.
Just because, but this is what this podcast is all about.
Huh?
Just because you say something and everyone says it doesn't mean that it's like what's actually true. I thought this podcast stood for true. Whoa.
You thought this podcast
No.
stood for
I
truth?
was about to do a character assassination, and
Oh, you
I
call
don't do
yourself.
that. I call myself.
It's a new year. It's a new year.
Yeah,
It's a new year.
I was about to say something really just unsavory.
Okay.
I'm not gonna do that.
Okay. That's nice of you. Well, look, I just think washcloths are really limited. You talk about great tools. You can do way more with a hammer, like you said. Hands. The hand can do so much. There's so many amazing tools out there. You picked a washcloth, which can do precisely one thing.
The tools you are listing incite violence.
They do not incite violence.
Hands, hammers. A washcloth is kind. It's a kind tool.
They can incite violence, but they can also be of great like productive use. That does not and like create. They can be used to create. A washcloth does not create anything. It cleans. It violently scrubs the surface of your skin.
We are not Lady Macbeth. Why do we always need to be creating, destroying, and can we never just maintain? You know what a washcloth does? Maintain. It maintains the skin. It keeps you clean.
I would say ladybugs maintain in that they are maintaining their existence through breeding.
Breeding, and they kill their young. They're always breeding because they're all heterosexual. So they're always fucking, and then they're always killing their young. They're breeders, capital B breeders.
Oh, gross.
And then they kill their young, and then they have no hearts on top of that. That's crazy. And they're fascists.
They're not fascists.
Yes, they're aesthetics based. That one could argue.
They are not aesthetics based. You know, I think it has a lot to do more with humans. I think the humans, they see the beauty in them, and it's not about us. It's not necessarily that they, associate goodness with the with beauty. It's that they see beauty all around them in nature, and they are simply an agent of that. And I think what's fascistic is the use of a tool that can only be used to beautify humans. I think that's fascistic.
Do you associate cleanliness with beauty?
Yes, and I think anyone who doesn't is a sap.
Is a sap.
Yes, a sap.
Ooh.
My gosh.
That felt like a subliminal character assassination. The way I said that word.
Softball assassination.
A caricature assassination.
Yeah.
That was kind of a caricature, actually.
Yeah.
Of me.
Yeah, that's what you sound like.
Wait. Whoa. What do you mean by sap?
I think a fool.
A fool. And why is that? To be clean is to be beautiful?
What?
To be clean is to be... Ooh. Someone is calling me. I'm not
Oh my
picking up, but
gosh.
it's like, who calls these days, you know? Don't distract me right now. To be clean is not always to be beautiful. I think on a metaphorical level, our insides are quite messy and dirty, but they're still beautiful.
No, I
and
think
a
they're
washcloth
gross.
is gross. Yeah,
Our
the
insides
body
are
is really
gross. The heart, I prefer a heartless
we learned that
being.
from the substance, okay? The
Yeah,
fact that
yeah.
you have someone that could just come out inside of you at any moment. If you
Yeah,
took a
I don't
little
like that.
shot. I don't like that either.
I liked the movie. So I don't like the idea that could happen to me.
No.
That's why I don't take drugs.
No. And see, that's why I didn't choose that tool. That's a tool that was really violent.
This we can agree on.
Yeah.
And that's why you only see me for 1 week at a time, and I go missing for another week. And you're like, where's Jack? I'm in my room, like with a tube in me.
I love the way. You know what was weird about that movie?
What?
Like she was always cooking the chicken, but you never saw her eat it.
Well, she was
You
so
throw it, I
hungry.
thought.
It was like
What?
it was.
I thought, are you cooking the chicken like when
You know
she's
when
like
she was like in her house and she's like
yelling at her?
yo, I'm the witch. I'm gonna
Yeah,
make all
yeah.
this food. But it was like, why did we see her eating the food? It was like all
She had more
eaten
fun throwing
afterward.
it, I think.
She was throwing. Yeah,
Yeah,
she
she
threw
was
some of
throwing
it. But
around.
some- like
She
you know,
did some
like
of it.
I remember, Margaret Qualley. She comes up and she's like, "Oh my god, that's like chicken." And there's like a chicken bone that's
Yeah.
like been completely like annihilated by
Yeah.
Demi Moore. And I'm
Yeah.
kind of wishing we could have seen the scene where she's like
Eating
going
the
to town on the
chicken.
chicken.
That would have been sick. Like a mukbang of her entire.
Totally.
Not
Because I'm
to-
like, did props just really do a good job, or was she?
I think they did a good job, but not to lean further into this sidetrack, but I'd like to and say perhaps the reason that it was not shown is because we understand the resentment, the character, why she's like doing it, like the cooking, whatever. And then afterward, we can see from Margaret Qualley's perspective, why she's disgusted about that. You know, she has these like biases about like body image and like eating and stuff. But to show Demi Moore like eating it and stuff sort of puts the audience in Margaret Qualley's perspective in a way that I think the director didn't want us to.
Oh, wow.
That reminds me, there's a lot of showers in that movie, and neither character uses a washcloth. Yet both of them do horrible things. Think about that correlation. In movies, you see a lot of showers. Rarely do you see a washcloth, and usually when there's a movie without a washcloth, someone does something horrible and nasty.
Well, usually those characters are definitely cleaning their butts with their fingers.
Yeah, and that's no way to live. What is so awesome is that when you have a washcloth that is just like starts to have all these brown streaks on it, and that's how you know that you've it's been a good month or something. Like you've lived life. Like washcloths are markers of time ultimately too.
I think ladybugs are markers of time too because they show up every year and then they go away and then they show up every year and it's sort of like seasons changing, the circle of life.
Ladybugs. An interesting fact about them is that they don't know how to walk. They have to learn how to fly first before they can crawl, which is kind of really the backwards way of yes, but also it's kind of like it ties into their them not really having it all together.
They might not have it all together, but I would say the washcloth doesn't have it all together. All it can do is absorb and rub.
Okay, that sounds great.
I think the best tools. I think a ladybug can crawl, can fly, can be a little cutie patootie, can be thrown over your shoulder.
What?
They can reproduce.
This notion that the ladybug is cute, is this just because we've been told this by the media?
Because they're completely round. You don't see the legs sticking out of the sides. There are no long legs. They're completely round. And I think that's charming. I think the design's kind of nice. I think it's really the lack of visible legs because I think you don't want to. I think the longer the leg, the creepier the bug is.
Slenderman, yeah.
He's like Slenderman.
Or I guess he's not a bug, but still.
He's bug-like. We can sort of call.
Yeah, like praying mantis.
Yeah.
But
I didn't pick the praying mantis because the legs are long and see
people
that
with
I
long
take
legs
issue with.
have power though. I think of supermodels.
Sure, just look at the movie Long Legs.
There's a movie called a movie got called Short Legs. Think about that.
Yeah,
they're never gonna make it the movie after the ladybug. I think about in The Wild Robot when
this is a movies podcast, by the way.
It all goes back to the movie. Movies are on the brain right now. It's the award season, but Roz, she takes care of all the animals, but the one animal that turns against her in that movie is there's this ladybug named Sally. And Sally goes up to Roz and is like, "Fucking robot, go back to where you came from." And all the animals are like, "Sally, that's not cool." And the weird thing about Sally's arc is that it's never really resolved. It's just it's kind of understood that ladybugs are horrible creatures that don't deserve to live, and ultimately the ladybug is shot by a hunter at the end of the film. No one is sad. Everyone thought it was a good idea.
Folks, if you want to talk about character assassination, he's talking about a fictional ladybug as a proxy for all ladybugs.
I'm just saying and no one had any critiques about it. Everyone was like, this is okay. Yeah, because we all know that ladybugs eat their young,
which is cool.
What about that is cool? This is not
well, because it's a different culture. If humans, we put all this work into birthing one young, so you're not going to want to eat that. But if you're an animal that's spewing out hundreds and hundreds of young, dozens at least, not all that young is going to be worth it. Sometimes you need to maintain sustenance to lead your family. And some of that young is just looking really a little chicken tendy or something,
a little tasty, a little
tasty.
Yeah, I what I think it maybe is almost good that they kill their young.
Yeah,
because that means there's less of them.
No, yeah. but it gives them the power to keep on living. So actually, no.
Ladybugs are not perpetual machines.
They're perpetual machines.
They eat their young, but you know who they also eat? They eat what was it? Oh my gosh. Orphans. Yes, there was a whole thing
they eat orphans
in recently in the Atlantic.
Oh really?
There was like a case study someone did where like they found like these like on the side of the road in Nebraska, all these like orphan corpses, and they just saw ladybugs like around the orphan corpses.
Well, they didn't kill the orphans. They didn't kill the orphans. The orphans were there, I'm sure, for their own reason.
Playing in the fields, yeah.
Yeah,
'cause,
and then it's
they
like
get
once they're dead,
recess.
then it's like, do you blame the scavenger for scavenging?
They do. It's so unnecessary. It's like they're eating not just their own young, all the young.
Well, I think kids are annoying, and I think ladybugs, they sort of understand that. They're cool. Yeah.
I think we should go to closing statements.
Okay.
And who did we hear from first?
I think me.
Yeah.
Then you'll go second. We'll hear from Matt.
I'll just say like ladybugs, they're cute, these cute little guys. There's nothing like wrong with them. They're great little bugs. They just keep it going. They're by far the best of all the bugs, certainly. And the washcloth is a weak tool. It like can't really do much at all. It can very easily be replaced with a loofah or a hand. There's nothing that's special about them. Anything great that you could say about the washcloth? Like, oh, it's continuous. It has memory. Like you can say that about a ladybug. They're really just mid. Whereas ladybugs are wonderful little charmers. I yield my time.
I love washcloth. That's all I could say.
Okay.
But I'm going to say a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
It came to me in a vision. Think about that. Not every tool does that. And I really want to fight for the washcloth here. And I feel like I have. I feel like I've proven that there is something unique about the washcloth and its unconventional nature as a tool. And maybe it is a little bit superfluous. Like, you could use your hand, you could use a loofah. But to me, there's something like the washcloth represents the history of humanity. Because it's one of the first times where we said, yes, we have the hand as a tool, but we could go a little bit further than this. Why don't we use a cloth to wash ourselves? This thing that we wear on our body, we could also wash ourselves with. So every time you use one, you're kind of, bringing to life all of the history of humanity. And I just don't think you could say the same for ladybugs. And with that, I'm going to end it here.
Nice. That was a close one. I think Brennan had me, and then I think the mention of the brown streaks is sort of when I started to wane. I think I'm gonna give it to the fascist bug.
Yes! Good game. I do have
but-
to say I made a lot of those claims up, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I don't know anything about ladybugs. I was just like, we'll start doing a character assassination of them.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. Hey, some habits, they die hard.
And that really is that's my New Year's resolution, to keep all my old habits.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
It's called being resolved.
We always love to, bring on the next new thing.
Yeah. What about the current thing? What about the old stuff?
Exactly, yeah.
Well, speaking of things that are coming up, Brendan, you have anything you'd like to plug?
Yes, I just did a music video to Adele's Someone Like You, and it's on my Instagram. So
great.
Please go watch that at BRENNAN_KEELEY. It's the
so
audio.
that's your
is-
name with an underscore in the
Yes,
middle.
exactly. Yeah. But sometimes it's like what, and the audio is fucked because when I posted it on Instagram, like it got delayed or whatever. So, if you're watching, you're like, this guy sucks. It's like, no, I had a hard day. And if you want the version with the better audio, my phone number is 847-257-9212. My email is BRKEELEY816@gmail.com. And I'll give you, if you email me, give me Adele music video, I'll send you it.
Amazing.
Great.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What I'd like to plug is that Jack and I are doing our half hour in just a few days.
Yes.
Woo!
This comes out the 17th,
I think the 17th, and our
Yeah.
show is the
So-
24th.
I think it's a week from when this drops. They're both Fridays now. Let me
Yeah,
double
yeah,
check.
so-
I think that's the move. A week
so-
from today, come to the pit.
Yeah, come to the pit, come to the loft, and you'll see our half hour mixed in with some other great stand-ups that are very, very good friends of ours, all of whom have been on this podcast. We're talking Molly Winiarski. We're talking Susan Cavalcanti.
Woo.
We're talking Shun Fu.
Woo.
We're talking Joan Flaherty.
And a little
Woo.
special surprise from David Vallona.
That's right.
Shout out.
And we hope everyone had an awesome New Year. This is, again, we'll say it here again, this is going to be the year of apples and oranges.
Yep.
Buckle up and lock in.
Totally. They say that all the time in the Beast Games.
They do.
They're always
They
talking about
literally
locking
do.
in.
And also, watch the Beast Games.
Please.
Please, Mr. Beast needs it.
All right, everyone.
Mwah.
Bye-bye.
Thank